Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Women in Society. My name is Fatima Dewji Jafar and I'm going to discuss various issues affecting women in our society. Today, I want to talk about how Islam empowers women. I want to discuss some of the most influential women in Islamic history. Women who raised their voices and participated in the discourse of the world. I also want to talk about how we as Muslim women have a responsibility to break the negative stereotypes surrounding us today. Since this is an extremely important topic, I will break it down into two segments. In the first segment, I want to enlighten you about how Islam promotes women empowerment. What are some of the stereotypes of Muslim women? Oppressed and unequal, submissive and passive. These are just some of the words we hear in the media today. One study in the UK found that 91% of articles about Muslim people in the national newspapers were negative. To make matters worse, Muslim women in particular are often portrayed as powerless victims in popular media, if portrayed at all. Just how women in general are criticized for their looks, Muslim women are subject to the exact same type of shallow criticism. A lot of attention is paid to what we wear, and not enough attention is paid to talent. Ibtihaj Muhammad, an accomplished Olympian, was known not for her superior fencing skills, but for the fact that she wore a hijab to the Olympics. What these misconceptions fail to realize is that cultural practices in Islam itself are two different things. They can't be intertwined, and some may even use Islam to support cultural beliefs. But Islam itself is and always has been a progressive religion. In the 7th century, during the time when women were widely considered to be subservient to men, Islam elevated women to an equal status. Islam gave women the right to education, the right to marry whomever they choose, the right to divorce, the right to work, the right to vote, the right to own and sell property, and the right to civic and political participation. It's astonishing how many rights early Muslim women had, which contradicts the popular depiction of contemporary Islam. God asserts that all human beings, regardless of gender, are born in a pure state. Women are no lesser than men, and vice versa. The Quran says, "To whoever male or female does good deeds and has faith, we shall give a good life and reward them according to the best of their actions." All of us should strive to preserve our inner purity and shun evil. And to God, that is what is most important. The Quran states, "Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you," meaning that men and women are equal in the eyes of God. It's important to note that although men and women are equal, they are not identical. The Quran recognizes that each sex has its own attributes that they can use to contribute to the greater good of the family and the community at large. A mother, for instance, is recognized for the unique hardship of giving birth to and raising children. An entire chapter of the Quran is devoted to women, which includes details of pregnancy and childbirth, highlighting the suffering every woman must endure. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, famously said, "Heaven lies under the feet of your mother." Islam honors mothers so much so that if a woman dies in childbirth, which until the modern day was a common occurrence, she's made a martyr. Additionally, Jesus' first recorded words were, "He has ordered me to be obedient to my mother." While every subsequent mention of Jesus identifies him as son of Mary. Jesus is a critical figure, and to have his identity tied to his relation to his mother makes her important too. The position and mention of Mary, the mother of Jesus, is so high in Islam that an entire chapter of the Quran is dedicated to her. Additionally, there are also laws that are only applicable to women. For instance, a mother can charge the father for breastfeeding their children, as 9 months of pregnancy are not to be trifled with. On one occasion, described in the Quran, a man asks the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, "Who amongst the people is the most worthy of my good companionship?" Each time, the Prophet, peace be upon him, replies, "Your mother." When the man asks a fourth time, the Prophet replies, your father. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began to reveal the message of Islam to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, called people towards the belief in one God and encouraged them to be just and merciful to one another. Islam was introduced at the time of Jahiliyyah, or ignorance, for a reason, to reform the pagan Arab society. When humanity was at its lowest state and people treated women as objects, Islam introduced two of the most significant women in Islamic history, Khadija and Fatima, to transform the mindsets of the Arab society regarding the treatment of women. Islam abolished the practice of killing female children and raised the status of women in society to one of dignity, esteem, and privilege. One stereotype regarding Muslim women is that Muslim women are forced into marriages with abusive men. Although they are Muslim women forced into marriages, it is for cultural and not Islamic reasons. Forcing a woman into a marriage she does not accept is not sanctioned by Islamic law. In fact, forced marriages are direct opposite to what the Prophet, peace be upon him, has said. The best of you are those who are best to their wives. Any form of emotional, physical, or psychological abuse is forbidden by Islam. The Quran states, "And of his signs is that he created for you from yourselves mates, that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy." Marriages are partnerships built upon love and compassion, which cannot happen if a woman is abused by her husband. What's more is that the Quran clearly states that women have the right to divorce if she chooses to, meaning that no woman should be bound to an abusive marriage. According to Dr. Zainab Alwani, a leading female Muslim scholar from Howard University, Islam clearly disallows oppression and abuse. She says, "God created us from one soul, men and women. There is no way for one gender to accomplish this mission successfully without the other." There is absolutely no passage from the Quran that allows domestic violence. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, himself treated his wives with the utmost respect and honor. As unfortunate as it is, domestic violence happens in all sorts of households, regardless of ethnicity, nationality, or religion. Abuse is not the sole domain of anyone. In the next segment, I will explore how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, empowered women to serve as pioneers in the struggle for Islam. I will discuss the lives of various prominent women in Islamic history who are not only witnesses and participants, but also narrators in shaping Islamic history. I hope you all enjoyed today's talk about how Islam empowers women. Feel free to share some feedback through our Facebook and Twitter accounts. And also, I'd love to know what topics interest you and what you would like me to discuss in future videos. Thank you.